Every Appalachian Trail record holder had hiked the entire trail, or at least a significant section of it, before starting his or her fastest known time, or FKT attempt. I wonder what an FKT is. I've never heard of that before.
So it's been a few weeks since I read the book North by Scott and Jenny Jurek. And because I'm relatively new to trail and ultra running, I'm kind of embarrassed to say that I didn't know what a FKT or a fastest known time was. However, in the past few weeks researching FKTs, I've noticed that in my home province of New Brunswick, we actually have a number of them. But the one that really stood out to me is the Fundy Footpath, which is a 64-kilometer single-track trail with incredible ascent and descent. Earlier this month, I turned 49, and it's my 50th birthday goal to get listed on the fastest known time website. And the Fundy Footpath is now scheduled for exactly 12 months from now. As long as I can complete the FKT and get listed on the website within the month of April 2024, my challenge will be complete. As I've committed to this goal during my 50th birthday month of April 2024, I spent the summer signing up for as many trail races as possible, as well as group runs with the very supportive and fun St. John Trail Running Group. Yesterday, I finished my third training run of the summer at Brian and Sadie Gagne's Herring Run. It was a beautiful course with wooded sections and coastal trails with an incredible meal afterwards. And prior to the Herring Run was the East Coast Beast Coast in June and Rompin Rockwood in May. Greg, thank you for your time. We're here at Fundy CrossFit. You're the head coach, and I've been here for many years, and you've really helped me with my goal of specifically becoming a better trail runner.
If I was going to pick some specific movements to help with things on the trail, it would be things like lunging, variations on carries, and any other movement that focuses on single leg exercise. We can do variations of a movement called scales.
Yes, that's perfect. Thank you, Greg.
Oh, thanks, Mark.
In addition to getting some training advice from Greg Pattman, I also received some great tips from ultramarathon runner Tim McDonough and also Jeff Queen of the Rockwood Road Warriors. Always seek advice from those who are more accomplished.
So here we are, running loops 24 hours, and it's going to be a great adventure. It's going to be incredibly wet.
Looney Loops was a wild party of a trail race, a 24-hour looped run in my hometown of St. John, New Brunswick, organized by St. John Trail Running. This was my first time doing a 24-hour run, and it won't be my last. Perfect training for an FKT attempt.
We're going. Nice.
I'm now driving through the picturesque St. Martin's, which is the gateway village of the Fundy Footpath if you're running or hiking it from west to east. St. Martin's has a rich history in the fishing industry, has a lot of beautiful old homes, has lighthouses, covered bridges, sea caves that you can kayak into, and as I'm an espresso fan, a very cute cafe to enjoy a coffee and read a magazine prior to or after your Fundy Footpath adventure. The winding Parkway Road within the Fundy Trail Provincial Park offers incredible views of the Bay of Fundy, including waterfalls that are accessible to non-hikers as well. My reason for coming here is to buy the Fundy Footpath guidebook and map from the park's interpretive center. On the opposite side of the footpath is Alma, the other gateway village. Alma has so many photo opportunities in such a small area, and along with the nearby Fundy National Park campground, is the perfect place to either start or end a Fundy Footpath adventure. You can eat all the seafood meals that you want. While I'm fairly new to trail running, I've been a road runner since 2017, having done my first half marathon while living in the intriguing city of Riga, Latvia. That experience led me to road running adventures around the world, usually during off days from international photo shoots or in between photo workshops that I lead in various countries. I just found this Strava heat map that shows what cities or countries that I've been running in and how many runs were logged within that region. It is now October 27th, and I'm in Ireland, so I plan to add another run to this Strava map by running through the colorful streets of Dingle. I want to explore other famous FKT routes in various parts of the world. Tomorrow, for example, I plan to check out a small section of the Grand Canal FKT and the Royal Canal FKT, both originating in Dublin. The Grand Canal FKT is 131 kilometers long, starting in Dublin on the south side of the famous River Liffey. I could only jog a few minutes with the FKT route, but what struck me was the peaceful greenery along the canal, with the weeping willows swaying poetically in the slight breeze. I got back on my rented bicycle and crossed the River Liffey over the most famous bridge in Dublin, the Hachey Bridge. The Royal Canal FKT is almost 150 kilometers long and starts on the north side of Dublin's River Liffey and was a major shipping route for the country. This FKT has some fantastic old ironworks, as well as traditional Irish architecture along the canal paths.
Well, I'm in Lucca now, and Lucca is a walled city. It's a really fascinating place, especially good for running because there's not many cars on the road. Anyway, I'm going to be going out into the countryside to a place called Ripa Frata. And this is one of the sections of this incredible FKT trail that I've been really looking forward to seeing.
I'm starting my day with a run through some Lucca side streets, running on the famous wall that surrounds the city, and through some of the fascinating and very old wall tunnels. Many of these tunnels are open to the public. It's a very short train ride from Lucca station to Ripa Frata, and about 10 minutes outside of the station, you can start your journey on a segment of the Monte Pisano crossing. This is a trail that's 42 kilometers long, and the FKT starts further north than where I'm starting. But the value of running FKT designated trails is that you can jump into any section that you like if you have no plans of submitting that run as an official FKT. The Monte Pisano crossing offers many divergent trails to explore. Fascinating landmarks such as the Torre del Centino and the Nicolai defensive towers.
I am in Japan, specifically the mountains of Nagano, photographing the Japanese snow monkeys with my photo workshop guests. Now, what I'd like to do is actually run an entire FKT route. When I was in Ireland, I could only do about 10 minutes of the intro part of the FKT runs. And in Italy, I could only do about 1 hour's worth of running on that FKT route. However, in Tokyo, the Imperial Palace circumnavigation is pretty much exactly 5 kilometers. So let's see what happens, and I'll see you in Tokyo. Well, good morning. It is the day of the 5K. So this is the Imperial Palace Moat Run. And it's really photogenic, and I'm looking forward to doing this. And I'm looking forward to seeing the scenery as well. I was here last night. I got some fun pictures with my iPhone. So it's quite cool this morning, perfect for running. We'll see what kind of results I can get. Thank you, Thomas, for helping me with this 5K. I'm really looking forward to it. And I would say we can start pretty much now. Oh man, that just about killed me, brother. Thank you. Yeah, that was tough. Well, I appreciate the help. Now for a nice rest at my hotel room. Welcome to Guanajuato City. This is one of my favorite places for photography and also my first run in this city. Now, I just came from the very fascinating underground tunnels that wind their way below this city. They used to be silver mining tunnels. Quite fascinating. Anyway, this city is full of color, and whenever I take my photo workshop participants here, we usually stop at the lookout to get some great panoramic photos and also videos. So I'd like to share Guanajuato City with you while I attempt, well, a little bit of the FKT that I've chosen. It's called Cerro de la Bufa. And I won't be doing the whole thing because I don't have too much time, but in any case, I'd like to give you a little introduction to this FKT to show you a little bit what the introduction is like. Okay, let's begin.
My fellow runners for this FKT attempt are Colin Swift and Marcus Rogers. And as Colin lives in Sussex, New Brunswick, he reached out to his contacts and explained what we were doing. Outdoor Elements, Salomon, Scratch, and Smartwool socks generously set us up with the perfect kit for our adventure.
I think the biggest hurdle mentally will be preparing for the elevation.
Okay, so let's take a look at the map.
The most important part is the tidal crossing at Goose Creek. We'll have a 3:30 a.m. start time. You're a morning guy?
Can be.
4 to 5 day recreational trail. You want to do it in one?
Picadilly Coffee generously set us up with plenty of beans for our pre-run wake-up, and our friends at Made with Local supplied us with all the trail running nutrition that we would need. With our new shoes tied up, we did a break-in run on the Bluffs Trails in Sussex, one of the many stunning trails that we have on the East Coast. These shoes fit perfectly and feel great.
What kind of scratch is this?
This
is the super high carb
Scratch
super fuel. My name's Mark McColgan, and I'm the crew chief, they call me, for the St. John Trail Running Group back in St. John. And we offer right now 3 runs a week. We have a women's only trail running group, a co-ed group, and a intro group. So the Fundy Footpath actually expanded over the last few years. It's now 64 kilometers, up from 42. Starts at the headquarters of Fundy National Park and ends at the Interpretive Center in the Fundy Trail Parkway. It's quite challenging. I think it's about anywhere from 10,000 to 11,000 feet of gain. It's in the middle of nowhere is one of the first issues. There's river crossings that you have to pass through, and if you don't make it on time, you're not getting through, you're swimming. It's going to be a challenge for sure. I know Mark has been doing a lot of training on his own, going out for 70 to 90K runs, starting anywhere from 3 to 5 in the morning. I think he's well prepared for it. Marcus and Colin are very strong runners, but the footpath can throw anything at you. If they're well prepared tonight and they get some good sleep, they'll get through it for sure.
What would we do without the help of a great crew? Aren, Mark McColgan, and Sue got up at 1 a.m. to start the Picadilly Coffee to help us get set up with our gear and food and eventually kick us out the door. We couldn't have done it without them.
So it's 5:38 in the morning and the run's been going really well. And look at this beautiful sunrise. This is what we've been waiting for.
Now that it's April, I've hit the 50-year-old mark. This milestone carries with it a certain existential weight. Statistically speaking, I only have 30 years left to live. I know that I don't have to be bound by life expectancy stats. However, having lived more than 60% of an average Canadian male lifespan does make one conscious of how to navigate the future. I think that a good part of my motivation to challenge myself with a large goal like this was to slow down the mortal coil descent. I don't know if that'll happen or not, but this challenge is no doubt a conscious and subconscious attempt to do so. But let's switch gears from weighty introspection back to the Fundy Footpath. Marcus, we just crossed Goose River. Now tell me about this sign. Where are we now?
This signifies the Fundy National Park boundary, and we are officially on to what is the old Fundy Footpath.
Easy.
So Mark, the footpath is notorious for its hills. How are we doing?
Well, I feel great mentally because of the beauty of this place, but yeah, these hills are definitely killer.
So it's getting warm, which is great. But that means I have to get rid of some layers and then we'll continue on.
And we're eating bacon.
Yes. An unexpected result of me spending time with younger, faster, and stronger athletes like Marcus and Colin is that their energy seems to be contagious. I've been thinking lately that the limits of physical strength are almost never reached. Think of the person who has the ability to lift a small car to help remove someone who's trapped underneath it. Surges of adrenaline, a sense of hope, encouragement, excitement, enticement. These all come together to push us further than what we thought was possible.
All right, so Goose Creek, our major milestone, as it is a tidal crossing. You can see the ground is wet and muddy here. Being on the Bay of Fundy, with the highest tides in the world, at high tide, this was completely covered in water. Planning was successful, we've timed it correctly. I can smell the salt in the air coming off the ground.
So we're at 34, and this is Martin Head. It's stunningly beautiful. Take a look. And we got low tide, so obviously you can walk out to Martin Head if you wanted to.
While a little bit on the nose and simplistic, the Fundy Footpath's relentless roller coaster ride of very steep ascents, runnable plateaus, and descents seem to mimic life. 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons, and even to a degree, full marathons allow for pushing past what's sustainable for the long term. The footpath, however, will beat you down and humble you if you believe that you can outrun it. Stay humble.
Colin, there are no brakes on the Fundy Footpath. Here we are. Now, are we at Quiddy River?
This is Quiddy River.
Nice.
This drains out to Martin Head, the unofficial halfway point.
Colin, you've been waiting for the Red Bull.
Oh yeah, tastes good.
Yeah.
Gonna be hyped for the rest of the trip.
When I turned 40, I took a good look at myself, body, soul, and spirit, and realized that I wanted to change quite a few things. The most important of those was that I wanted to be a better father, husband, son, brother, and friend. A secondary desire was to reverse a downward slide in physical health. It seemed like the round numbers, such as age 30, 40, 50, etc., carried with them an alarm clock with a very generous and easy to tap snooze button. 10 years later, now, I feel that the snooze button taps need to come to an end.
Of all the river crossings on the footpath, Telegraph Brook is one of the more scenic, with this beautiful waterfall. All these rivers that we were crossing used to be booming with industry hundreds of years ago, namely shipbuilding and timber. You can see the old wharfs still remnant here.
So we just passed Wolf Brook. In fact, it's right down there. Check out this waterfall. Taking a picture of it right now. So there's Martin Head, and the tide is coming in. You can see that there's just a little strip of sandbar going out to it.
Goal setting is interesting and peculiar. Usually the goal is something that is not easy. Otherwise, it wouldn't be anything to work up to. This particular goal for my 50th year might happen by default, actually, as there are no listings yet for the unsupported category for this trail. As long as I finish, most likely I will be listed on the fastest known time website. But as of right now, I can feel myself getting more and more physically and mentally depleted, which makes this goal even more valuable to me.
How in the world does someone lift those stones?
We've made it to Rapidy Brook, and what's significant about this is it's our last river crossing before the famous Little Salmon River. It's also the only crossing with a bridge.
Okay, so we're coming to the stone staircase. I don't know how they made this. A little dangerous, but so beautiful.
We're out here in the sauna.
Bird audio.
So we're at Little Salmon River now, and another beautiful lookout spot here. Check it out.
Running with wet shoes. Fortunately, trail running shoes, especially these Salomons, are designed to drain quickly and don't hold too much water in the fabric. As I've been getting into trail running more and more this past year, I've been encouraged at how the barrier to entry, both financially and locational, is quite low. Lugged shoes for the trails can be bought fairly inexpensively, and most towns or cities have some degree of trails to run on. For me, the challenge I foresee is relying too much on gear at the expense of heart and soul. I'll need to keep these balanced.
So this is the infamous Cradle Brook stairs. Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Okay, so 9 kilometers, and I'm really feeling it. My knees are aching, and I'm really grateful for Marcus and Colin for keeping the party going. Woo! Let's do it.
Yep.
So where are we now, Marcus?
We're at the best view on the footpath, Sealy Beach.
Beautiful.
So we look back along the coast, we see the hills that we've traversed today.
Running on a beach is a bit discouraging. It's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. These are the times when I pull up quotes such as this gem from world-renowned runner Kilian Jornet. The secret isn't in your legs, but in your strength of mind. You need to go for a run when it's raining, windy, and snowy, when lightning sets trees on fire as you pass them.
As we near the end of the footpath, we come across the Dragon's Tooth. This tooth-shaped boulder precariously balances near the escarpment, deep in the fog forest along the Fundy Footpath. There are now 3 kilometers on the Fundy Footpath. With 7K remaining, the hikers are happy.
Oh, there we go. Look at that sun.
Victor Hugo once said that 40 is the old age of youth, 50 is the youth of old age. I can see this quote playing out practically, where next month I'll attempt to get a Boston qualifying time at one of our province's marathons in the city of Fredericton. I get a 5-minute addition in time than I did last year, simply because of a 50th birthday. I will be and feel the youngest at that marathon within all of the 50-plus runners. Should be interesting to see how that affects me mentally and physically on the race day.
Well, almost there. Kind of stopped running. I'm exhausted, but I think we have about 3 kilometers left.
So Mark, you've run longer. This is a hard trail. How does it compare to the long runs you've done in the past?
The hardest, by far, by far.
Big Salmon River marks the end of the line. All I need to do is cross the river. How poetic. Crossing the river would offer my imagination a deeper narrative if I wasn't so exhausted. I'm sure I'll appreciate the metaphor in days to come.
We can always go 1 kilometer more. Do you agree?
Let's get it done.
Okay.
Woo! Let's get it.
Voluntary suffering is a fascinating experience. Endurance athletes pay money to experience pain, aches, despair, frustration, and exhaustion. Why is that? Isn't there more than enough struggle in life to go around? This is a question that I'm trying to figure out because right now I am almost vowing to never run again, as it's such a stupid idea to do. But I know that in 2 days I'll be back planning for my next endurance race or adventure. Very strange. But now it's time to put the deeper questions aside and enjoy the famous swinging bridge, which means that I'm pretty much done.
This is the hardest part. Oh gosh, don't change your cadence. Woo!
The end is near, my friends. Thank you for joining me. Well, thanks, guys. Whew. It was really great. It was incredibly difficult, but you helped me through.
Congratulations.
Happy to do it. Congrats.
Great, thank you.
How could any of this be done without the help of friends? So now it's time to upload the attempt to the fastest known time website, including our watch's GPX file, our Strava link, some photos that include the image's metadata, and a report. And within a week or so, our attempt was accepted, and my 50th birthday month goal of being listed on the FKT website was accomplished. After our Fundy Footpath FKT attempt, Colin supported Sussex runner Alexis Moffat on an incredibly fast 13 hours. And as my daughter was working in Alma, New Brunswick this past summer, I had quite a few chances to run the footpath again. On July 22nd, I did another FKT attempt, the result of which I was really happy with. Not taking any video camera gear and also needing less warm clothes really lightened the load, which no doubt helped with the almost 3-hour speed increase.
I just finished. Now I'm at the Welcome Center at the Big Salmon River, and I got 14 hours and 32 minutes.
One thing that I can state as universally true is that these life goals that we set before us are always made much more enjoyable and are usually far more tolerable with the help and the love of friends.